Hey, Donka, what do you think of the new set?
It's not there yet.
Not there yet. It will be, though. And you're watching Best of 3.
Awesome. Team 10.
Welcome to Best of 3, the weekly FGC talk show presented by The Daily Dot. We are in our new studio, guys. It's a work in progress. We don't have anything on the walls yet. We do have these really nice letters here that say Dot Esports, though, that I'm pretty excited about.
Just moved in this weekend.
Just moved in. This is, in fact, our second live show. And don't even ask me how it looked last night because we didn't have these nice chairs. So it's a work in progress. We'll ask you guys to please be patient with us because, you know, we're trying to present a good show for you guys. Anyway, tonight on the show, we will not be joined by John Velociraptor Guerrero because he is in San Francisco, poor guy, doing a Street Fighter V media event, playing some Street Fighter V and presumably Fong. But I think we have a very suitable replacement to join Ace King Offsuit on our weekly panel, and that is Alex Valle. Alex, how you doing, man? Look at this sexy son of a gun.
Doing fantastic. How you guys doing?
Alex, thank you so much for joining us, man. I'm glad that you're a part of the panel. Of course, Alex is going to be our guest later for the interview, but we decided, hey, you want to stick around for the full show, and he agreed. Joining us as well, as always, is Ace King Offsuit, Steve Jurek, one of our writers. Steve, how you doing, man?
Fantastic.
Happy to be here?
Let's go with that.
All right, and of course, if it's the first time you're watching the show, I'm Efren Salinas, the host of Best of 3, and with me, as always, is Michael Donka Schiller, co-host with the most. All right, guys. So tonight on the list of topics, we have, of course, the Killer Instinct World Cup, which we just enjoyed over the weekend.
That was pretty awesome, honestly.
It was hype, and I expect to hear more about your thoughts on that here in a second. We'll be talking about Killer Instinct World Cup. We'll be talking about PAX South because they had some cool stuff going on, and there's some lessons that can be learned, I think, and I know Alex wants to talk about that. And, of course, it's not too late to talk about the EVO lineup, and I'm sure people have some very interesting opinions on that. Now, we weren't able to do call-in tonight. Unfortunately, we had a couple of snafu here with all this new cabling and wiring and trying to get the studio set up. But we will be trying to take questions from the chat, so feel free to post your questions.
And call-in should continue to be consistent as soon as we can get it back.
That's absolutely right. All right, guys, let's get started. I was at the Killer Instinct World Cup, and I walked away from that event thinking, why the hell am I not playing Killer Instinct? And then I remembered it's because I don't have an Xbox One. Alex, did you watch any of KI World Cup?
I did, yes. I've played KI when it came out, and one of the things I paid most attention to is how, or close to the chest, is how I'm gonna blow this community up and make sure that it gets the play it deserves. But like seeing all of them there that weekend, that is like the epitome of passion within a community because they all did it together, and they've been there since day one. Such an amazing crowd. I've met most of the guys there, the production team. They're all, we're all lucky to have them, to have this much passion, because without them, who knows who would have run this KI World Cup. I mean, and I think we got really lucky for the people that just got all involved with that, and I'm actually interested in seeing more.
Well, I mean, what they announced at the KI Cup was that they'll be back for 2 more years at least.
Yep.
What I found interesting was, I mean, is it fair to say that KI launched with this bit of a splash and then had a kind of a dip in popularity and has been kind of hanging on? I wouldn't say life support, but I mean, the people who are in the scene are strong with it, but after this weekend, I'm telling you, I felt so much positive energy in that room and so much, positive press or, just the good vibes for Killer Instinct that I wouldn't be surprised. And, of course, it's been announced in EVO, and we'll be talking about the EVO lineup later. But, Donka, what do you think, man?
For sure. I mean, you mentioned that the game, it was free to play, and it still is on a base level. You have to pay for some of the seasons, some of the characters, some of the costumes. I'm not exactly sure the entire details. But when the game came out, it was free. People all wanted to try it out. It had its little dip in popularity. Then it started to fall off a little bit. Double Helix stopped supporting the game, but Iron Galaxy took over. Started getting balanced, and I think just now, it might be a little late, but with the PC version coming out next month, I think it's definitely a good time to get into it. The game has really started to shape up. It's gotten extremely balanced. You saw every single character was played at some point in the top 32 of the Killer Instinct Cup, and honestly, it looked super awesome the whole time. At KI Cup, we got every single character's balance changes shown to you by the balance director himself, Keats. we got a reveal of the new character, Kim Woo. We got to see every single play-in tournament played, then the top 32 played, where every player, even 25th place, was given $200 at least. I mean, the tournament was just absolutely top-notch for a game that, hasn't been as popular. So it shows that if the community can wrap it together, things can happen. And we saw with CEO Otaku this year, and we've seen it now at the KI World Cup. So
again, when I think hitting PC, and I think I want to talk about that. PC, how does that necessarily grow the scene? Alex, I mean, I know you've been doing your tournaments on PC, and I've heard you say it makes it a lot easier to run an online tournament. Your thoughts on a game going to PC and what that may or may not do for the lifespan of a game?
Okay, well, first of all, PC blows out any console in the water because it's at everybody's household. Okay, so it's already there. It's just a matter of everybody kind of getting knowledgeable with it and doing the proper upgrades. And then they have a freaking a gaming rig, and in playing PC fighters on Steam, it's such like a blessing because you can matchmaking is instant. You can make a group page and invite everybody that's in the tournament on that page. You don't even have to friend them. You can just do it there, and then give them the online instructions. So like, all right, this is what you're playing, and you can invite people there, and it just makes organizing super cool. But the most important factor of PC is crossplay. So Xbox, KI is only available on Xbox One currently, and we have plans to take it on PCs. So I mean, this is the biggest opportunity that the community can get to grab as many more new players. So,
and notable, what you've bought on Xbox One or what you can buy on Xbox One right now will transfer over and link exactly with your PC. So you can buy the game, the characters, the costumes right now and have it ready for you next month.
Yeah, and shout outs to Brandon, who was one of the driving forces behind the KI Cup. Hooked it up with a Season 1 and Season 2 code, so .esports is now wired for Killer Instinct, except we don't have a gaming PC yet. Oh, we do have the Xbox One, but no sticks for it. Daggum. See, it's a mess. If everything was on PC, that might be a little bit easier.
And I mean, I know this might be a little off topic, but speaking of mess, Pokken Tournament Wii U.
We're going to talk about that when we get to it, okay? There's plenty of shit to talk about the Pokken Tournament and how the logistics of running that at your tournament. But I want to talk a little more about Killer Instinct Cup. A lot of talent on display, a lot of heart on display. I had the opportunity. Apologies to the KI community. I promised that I would have a video up with their interviews cut together that I shot there at the event. It's not ready yet, but it will be. This is the footage that I shot, and we're seeing it here. But I got a chance to talk to a ton of the guys that were competing at this tournament. And, man, I'm not sure. I think you're hard-pressed to find a nicer group of dudes that care about it as much. I mean, that's like the common thing to say is the FGC helps each other out. Hey, just show up and bring your game, and we'll tell you how to play and give you tips. Certainly on display here, there's people from the Netherlands. There was people from France that were there competing. Good group of dudes. Everybody was having fun. I was really impressed. The moment that sticks out to me is Grand Finals. My God got second place on that. Spoiler alert. And seeing that guy, I mean, I don't want to put him on blast or say that he was crying. He was not crying, but it looked like he wanted to. And I went up and talked to him. The dude gave me a hug. He's like, man, it just sucks. I've been working really hard, and I'm either always second or I get knocked out at EVO. I do this, and I keep working. Again, I was moved by it. I thought it was a nice moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting seeing a bunch of players like. For most games like this, like the chance to be at EVO is their one big break. And for them to get another tournament, not have to wait for one time every year is nice. It's really tough, especially like when I was playing Blaze Blue, for example. You have a couple tournaments every year that people are at, and maybe someone sees it on stream, but it's not really a big deal except for EVO. And this was a big deal, honestly. It was, I believe, the #1 stream on Twitch all weekend. It wasn't even on the front page. That's what I heard.
And shout-outs to Max. Maximilian, I mean, you could say, hey, in my opinion, Maximilian did everybody a favor by letting it be on his stream because he already has a huge subscriber base. A lot of people follow him. A lot of people know him for KI. So shout-outs to, and if you were watching the stream and you saw Brandon giving out all those awards, there was a lot of shout-outs to be had. One of those was deservedly for Maximilian. Alex, I wanted to ask you about something because one of the things they announced for the KI Cup going forward is that not only are they going to do 2 more years, but they're going to do Killer Instinct Con, a convention. I don't know how you fill a whole convention hall or what you add to that. I know Brandon had wanted to have Helio Saga, this heavy metal band that helped fundraise for the event. But the idea of the convention around gaming, I know that that's something that you have thoughts on, Alex, and be interested to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah. So there's many esports titles are attached to like major trade shows and cons nowadays, right? Because that's where you gather like the biggest group of just casual gamers. You know, like they're in the know, they want to see what's going on, and they want to escape. You know, not everybody is a tournament player, so I think cons is a really great idea to grow the community from a different aspect, because we all, you know, everybody thinks about just growing the community as just tournament competitors and making them play, but not all of them play hardcore. So I think this would be a good opportunity to explore different ways to bring the interest of Killer Instinct. You know, like we have a lot of great Street Fighter fans out there, but not necessarily all of them, you know, attend EVO. They just watch it, but they're fans of the genre, the lore, and whatnot. So I mean, I'm happy to, you know, see them explore in those new in that new direction, because I think that is probably the next step for other titles to be more involved with their more trade show events, not just traditional, you know, invitational only, but just like the consumers that just walk in and want to have a great time. And you know, I talked a little bit about it on what if there was some kind of FGC camp / summit type ordeal, and maybe that can be added to like conventions or trade shows, or maybe it's a standalone. So it's just new directions to take for what we're doing with the community.
Dude, can you imagine? Hey, Mom and Dad, I want to go to summer camp. Oh, really? Yeah, Street Fighter V summer camp. Would you host? Would you be the camp master or the scout master or something there?
Oh, I mean...
Is it a rush
like,
that shit down merit badge?
Rush that shit down.
Oh, that would be something. I mean, that's definitely a direction for sure. But, you know, we're a little... I say we're in the progressive state to where it can be much bigger than that. You know, it can actually be a full-fledged like getaway and resort or something. Or, I mean, we have a lot of resources and knowing all the top players around the globe. You know, a lot of partners that we've previously partnered with in our major events. You know, some of them might want to get involved. I mean, the sky's the limit. It's just, I like new. I like progressing the scene, and those are the exciting things to look forward to.
Steve, would you go on a cruise where your instructors were teaching you Street Fighter V?
Well, it depends on who those instructors were. If I had follow, I don't know about Donka.
Oh, dang. He hasn't proven it yet. This dude has been playing the beta, right? And only the beta when it's been available. And I hear he's got a pretty good Vega. I know you wrote about this, Steve. Is there any matches that we should go back and check out in particular that you thought were pretty exciting, or anything that you could point to us, or anything that stood out to you about this event?
There were a few things. One thing I know Donka forgot to point out as a highlight was loopable thrusting.
Oh yeah, dude, Rash is so cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I saw it on our Kappa of all places.
And
right?
the pause theme is like his ultra, and yeah, the thrusting. Everything about that character was totally amazing.
Steve, is there anything else you'd like to talk about Rash?
Man, you know, it just comes through so much that they had fun with that character. He looks awesome. Kim Woo looks good. Arbiter.
Yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing.
That was some goofy news, yeah.
You know, they had them on display. They had some cabinets. In fact, I think Jabali was bringing them back and forth from PAX South, which we're going to talk about in a second, and this venue. But Kim Woo and Rash were on display, and you could play them, and people looked like they were really, really digging it. So that's exciting. All right, guys, we're going to move on to PAX South, the other event that happened in San Antonio, Texas this weekend. And it's a regular gaming convention, right? Your run-of-the-mill gaming convention. But this one in particular had a massive presence known as the PAX Arena, and it was a Smash tournament. And why am I talking about this? Because, Alex Valle, you were telling me that you wish that Street Fighter was at more conventions. I'll remind you that Street Fighter V was at this event in a smaller capacity at the Capcom booth, and Fubar Duck won that tournament, right? Which Donka says had he been there, it would have been free. He would have won it. But the idea that Street Fighter V needs to have a presence outside of just tournaments was something you were talking about. You alluded to it already a little bit here with the summit and things of that nature, but you did tell me that it should be at more cons.
Yes, absolutely. the more visibility of what our scene does, from the top player to the publisher to, you know, fans wanting to win a little, you know, plushie toy just for like beating people a few rounds or something. That needs to be all year long, because trade show season is, it is really getting all year long. Right, it starts from like CES, it goes all the way down to the Capcom Cup, the PlayStation Experience, right? So, and as much as we love, I'll say it again, as much as we love to see our top competitors play, you know, this is the prime time where storylines can be, you know, built around just the fans, you know, what they think about the title, how Street Fighter V or any other game is developing, to, you know, what's next, what's in store, get the vital feedback. What can we do to help the scene grow and even work in parallel with the publishers and developers, because we want to be more, I think we should all be more proactive. This is a proactive year now, right? Before, when Street Fighter 4 came out, and I can talk forever on this, I'll just keep it short. It's everybody's like, ooh, what's the next big thing that's happening for Street Fighter or the scene? What's the next big thing? But now, 7 years later, I mean, you should know now that without your help, without your proactivity, we won't get these things off the ground. You know, we need everybody's help. And the KI Cup, that is a prime example of what can happen to your game if you have that much passion to it. So as far as going to trade shows and cons, yes, we definitely need to like score more events there, summits, trade shows, panels, you name it, everything that we got, all of our arsenal. If you guys really want to take this to the next level.
Yeah, and it was just announced, Wizard World, who does a convention here in Austin, I believe in September is the Austin Comic Con. They've partnered with Capcom, and there's going to be a Street Fighter V component to the convention. Now, what I want to ask you, Alex, is because you sent me the new image for the Wednesday Night Fights, and the Bayonetta's on there, right? And we talked about that for a second. That Smash 4 is really having a moment in the sun right now and growing exponentially. What is Smash doing that Street Fighter V is not doing, or that the FGC is not doing?
Oh, wow. This can be a long conversation, too. Just to set the record straight, there is no video game company in the world that can compete or compare with the IPs Nintendo provides. That's number one.
Okay.
So,
right.
And it reaches a far younger demographic. So Nintendo has the jump from the start, and you know, Nintendo is pretty much it's in a global market of like everybody's first game is a Smash game when they're really, really young. Street Fighter, it wasn't really, you know, it started mainly when you're a teenager, right? And you probably have to get some advice from the old schooler guys that were like 22 or something to try to get you into Street Fighter. You see like the time gap, the age gap, sorry. And you know, you have just abundance of millions of kids playing this stuff, and they're so passionate. And I don't know, the vibe is completely different. When I first teamed up with the Super Smash Sundays team, they brought their own consoles and everything, and they were an hour before the tournament started. Like sometimes we're on tournament standard an hour late. They're an hour early, and it just seems like they got their shit together, man. But that just never stopped. And you know, they had an amazing documentary,
right?
That just, you know, skyrocketed the interest. The community backed when the EVO provided the breast cancer awareness donation fund during that 1 year, and just Melee just tore it up with, I think, what was it, like $250,000 in donations to get their game up there. So that kind of shows the power of who backs what game in you know, attendance and numbers and interest. So I mean, all those things add up to like, damn, this game is just blowing it out the water. And then after that, it just every year is just more and more. It caught up to Street Fighter 4, then to where it's now having 100,000 concurrents at every like major event that they're at.
It's unbelievable. The numbers are crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, right? And you're probably thinking like, hey man, what can I do? What can Street Fighter do? Well, Street Fighter 5 isn't out yet, so
that is